Okay, well, let's go ahead and start our settling in meditation, and I will let people in as they show up. So finding a comfortable position, whether that's sitting, lying down. And if you're sitting up straight, you don't need to be rigid, you don't need to keep your back stiff, but you want to be in a dignified position. And you can either gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. And take a few deep breaths in. And as you exhale, just releasing the tension of the day. Letting the tension and stress roll off your shoulders. Sometimes we need to take several breaths depending on the type of day we had. So however many it takes, just allowing your body to relax, keeping your shoulders down and your belly soft. Letting your face muscles relax. Letting your arms hang heavy at your side or on your lap. And let's do a body scan to give our busy minds something to focus on, beginning from the top of the head downwards, just relaxing the scalp, the forehead, letting your face muscles be slack, your jaw muscle is loose. And your ears relaxed, your mouth, your tongue, even your eyes, just letting all those muscles relax. Relaxing your neck and your throat. And again, relaxing your shoulders, your arms, feeling very heavy in your lap or at your side. Relaxing your torso, your abdomen is soft. And with the next exhale, just releasing any tension in your hips and thighs, sinking a little deeper into the cushion. Relaxing the knees and the lower legs. The ankles, the feet, and your toes. Just letting all the tension drain from your body into the ground, letting go of any stress or tension. And now gently shifting your attention to your breath. Breathing through your nose, following the entire breath in. And noticing all of the physical sensations that come with breathing. Feeling the air in your nostrils, in your throat. Noticing your lungs and belly expand as you breathe in and contract as you breathe out. Just observing the body breathing. And as you're observing the body, just breathing naturally, notice the movement. There might be a rise and falling of your shoulders. It may only be your belly expanding and contracting. Focusing on the movements that naturally happen as you naturally breathe. And if your mind wanders off, caught up in thought, just gently bring your thoughts back to your breath, noticing the movement of your body, being aware of the sensations of the body breathing. You might even do another body scan if that helps. Sometimes the mind needs to focus on something, and those help us. Help us let go of the day, let go of the thinking mind. Well, welcome everyone. It's good to see you. I haven't seen some of you for a while, so it's always nice to see your little faces on here. So there's a lot going on again, or still, in the world. We have our challenges. We get really caught sometimes in fear and anger. Anger is just another form of fear, but it can be more violent. And Dr. Stephen Levine has this wonderful analogy of a ship to illustrate Buddhism and Buddhist practices. And I wanted to kind of share that with you today because it's really interesting, and I've always loved this analogy. He says that the ship represents the journey of life, and the practice of Buddhism is the means that we navigate through life. So some of the key points on this analogy are navigating challenges. And he says, just as a ship faces storms and rough seas, individuals encounter challenges and suffering in life. And Buddhism teaches that understanding and accepting these challenges can lead to personal growth and enlightenment. Well, I don't know if I'm ever going to reach enlightenment, but if I reach those places of contentment and happiness once in a while, I'll be satisfied with that. The other part of the analogy is the role of captain. The captain of the ship symbolizes our mind, your consciousness. And so that's where we want to practice our mindfulness and our awareness, so we can be really aware of how we're steering our ship through life's difficulties. What kind of a course are we on? And then the destination of that course represents hopefully the goal of getting to nirvana or joy or contentment, whatever we can reach that improves our life. And as we know, the journey is just as important as the destination. So knowing the importance of this moment is really a big part of this. And this is why we practice our meditation. When our mind begins to wander, we gently bring it back so we can train it to be aware of how we're thinking, what we're thinking, how we're responding. The other part of the ship that he mentions is the community as crew. So the ship signifies the community like a sangha in Buddhism. This group here, this lovely group of people here, this is our community, and we're all supporting each other in this. It's nice to see each other's faces every week, get to know each other a little bit, and we can engage with each other because we're all kind of on this path together. And if one falls down, we pick each other up and help keep you afloat. So in this metaphor, the ship represents the vehicle through which we take this journey of our life while following the Eightfold Path. So the Eightfold Path serves as the navigation tools. Just like the ship symbolizing the container or the vehicle that we travel in, it encompasses all of our experiences, our challenges, our need for understanding, our curiosity, our discovery. And so, let somebody in real quick. And so the Eightfold Path is a really important part of this. Using the wisdom path, obviously we need to have some wisdom to know how to navigate on this journey. Using an ethical conduct is really important. And that mental discipline of effort and mindfulness and concentration, always very important. The more we practice these things, the more likely we are to stay on these paths, so we can navigate this ship with the rudder of the Eightfold Path, kind of sailing us along, with the sail being part of the Eightfold Path. The ethical path is a big part of how we set our sail. How do we set our rudder? How do we want to go through this journey? So knowing the Eightfold Path of right understanding, right view, right thought or intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, and right effort and right mindfulness and concentration, they all support each other. There's no individual, like, I need to do this step first and then this step first and then this step. They support each other. So whatever it is that you want to work on for yourself to strengthen on your path, you don't need to worry about if you're doing it in the right order, because they're all equally as important. They're all important in this whole trip that we're going on. So this analogy really emphasizes the importance of Buddhism and that intentionality in our practice. So having that right effort, that intentionality, is really important. I have a quote here from William Arthur Ward. He says, "The pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, and the realist adjusts the sails." So that's what we want to do. We want to adjust our sails, keep a hand on the rudder, keep us in the right direction. But when we go off course and we lose our temper, or we get afraid and we start feeling really out of balance, it's important to have these tools to fall back onto and go start again, begin again, get grounded. Where am I? How am I working with life? How am I moving through life? Where's my rudder? Where's my sails set? A big part of dealing with all of the scary things that happen, and there is a lot of fear out there today, a lot of anger, a lot of fear. I think a big part of that is just adapting to whatever it is we need to adapt to. We can't just sit and complain about, oh no, this is happening and that is happening and what am I going to do? And we go into a panic. Practicing this acceptance and adapting helps us respond with more resilience, like the sailor that's adjusting their sails to navigate shifting winds. So as things twist and turn in life, we can adjust our sails. We can see, how am I going to go through this little storm? How am I going to handle this big wave? Just sometimes it's a matter of holding on and just adapting and letting it roll under you, which is what waves do when you're in a boat or in a surfboard. The other thing we can do is use gratitude as our guides. So I was thinking about this earlier. What would my younger self say about where I'm at today? Because oftentimes we get so caught in our lives in the mundane repetitiveness of it all, it can get boring or feel like nothing's happening, like we haven't grown at all, like nothing's moving forward. But if you look back on who you were and you look at where you're at now, it's a really, really big difference. You've matured, you've learned to use some sensibility, you've learned to set your sail and use your rudder. And we're still learning. We're still learning every day. But compared to our younger self, we've really got our ship together. I love using play on words. So our ship is doing great. We have more independence, and we can say things, hey, I can actually do this stuff. Whereas maybe when we were 12, 15, 20 years old, we had no idea what we were doing, or if we'd ever reach anywhere that seemed like it'd be a good balance. At least for me, you speak for me. I was way out of balance for a long time. But I look at things now, and I'm just really grateful for all the opportunities that I've had, all the experiences that I've lived through, so that I can bring some of that knowledge with me for other people. And all these freedoms that I have given myself through all this work. And I'm really happy to look at that and say, wow, there's a lot of things I can do that I didn't think I was going to be able to. And I found out how, and I navigated those treacherous waters, and I got through it. And here we are, still going through storms of life, still dealing with stuff that's difficult to deal with, but we're doing okay. So I think looking at the bigger picture is often really important when we feel like we're stuck on the rocks. You know, we have tools. We have the Eightfold Path. We have this group of people. We have this Sangha. But I think if we really want to find those places of balance and the smooth sailing and the calm waters, we need to practice our meditation and our mindfulness so we can be aware of when the waves get a little bigger, the wind starts whipping up. We know how to respond. We know how to set our sails and hold on to our rudder, aim into the wind, whatever it is that we need to do. This practice is really helpful in getting through these difficult parts of our life. All right. Okay, so let's get in a nice comfortable position. And gently closing your eyes or softening your gaze, taking a few deep breaths. Exhaling and letting go of any tension we've picked up in this last half hour. Keeping your shoulders down. Your jaw muscle is loose, base is relaxed, belly is soft. And if you're sitting in a chair, putting your feet on the floor to help you feel grounded. You might place your hands on the top of your thighs. Sometimes helps feel grounded. If you're sitting on a mat, just feeling yourself sitting, maybe anchoring with your tailbone. And following the breath and that natural rhythm of the breath, like waves on a shoreline, that natural ebb and flow. And as the thoughts come into your mind, just notice that you're thinking and letting them go, coming back to the breath and beginning again. And part of using our ethical path and practicing that is to just kind of watch how we interact with not just the world, but also our own thoughts. What kind of thoughts are we saying to ourselves? Learning to say kind thoughts, being our own friend. Speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a good friend. If something happens that upsets you, the news, anything that throws you off course, notice that. And what would you say to your friend? Something like, You're safe. You have everything you need in this moment. Don't let the outside world upset you. Keep your inner world calm. You might visualize a sunset. Maybe you're on a boat, very calm waters. It could be a sailboat, but the waters are calm. The wind is calm. So you're just floating. Maybe gently rocking the way your breath moves your body as you breathe in and out. And if you are visualizing yourself on a boat, maybe in a cove, nice calm waters, you can look about and see what kind of view you have. What do you see? Notice if you're looking for something that might be a safety. Maybe you're scoping to make sure you're safe. Or maybe you're just enjoying the lovely beach and the coast. And what are your thoughts and your intentions with what you see? Can you intend to be calm and feel safe and just move with the water as it rolls underneath the boat? You might have a wave that's bigger than another, but you're still on the boat, letting the waves roll beneath you with the intention of just allowing, just adjusting to whatever motion is happening. And as thoughts enter your mind, which they will, just notice what kind of thoughts they are. How are you speaking to yourself? If there's any thoughts of fear, what if, let those go. You are safe on your boat, on the calm water. When you have your hand on the rudder, you can steer any direction that you want. So if something does happen, a wave comes along, you can still guide yourself to a nice smooth spot where you can relax in the nice calm water. You have control over anything that your mind thinks, any fear. These are the tools you use when something comes up. When we get too close to the rocks, we know how to navigate past them out into safe water where we can be calm and just allow life to be as it is. The more we practice this, the more wisdom we gain. And with this wisdom, we can navigate more confidently, more automatically. Try to, if you can this week, being aware of how we're speaking to ourselves. Try and practice talking to yourself as you would a good friend. It's not easy for me. Does not come naturally. But it's a really good practice because the world is difficult enough. We don't need to pile on with our own stuff. So being your best friend, being kind to yourself. You know that I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful week. All right. Take good care of yourselves. Hope to see you next week.